wanna know something that's funny? My mom had a vision of me turning blue and dying. She thought it was from the whippets.
Easy music.
I guess that's what happens when you assume. And when you take regurgitated advice. Like the way to deal with your addict child going through it would be to toss them out into the streets. The streets that just had a year of civil war in a pandemic, mind you. She had that vision of me turning blue, and she refused to believe it was anything other than what she assumed, which was that it was a vision of the future. But I told her the consequences of it the last time she kicked me out for a dude. I died. I was found dead with no pulse, blue. I wasn't at risk of turning blue. Okay, maybe I was. Turns out that I can't have just one when it comes to nitrous.
Purchase your tracks today.
If World War III pops off, you can find me at the local dentist office, hooked up to the nitrous, with a big stash of pixie sticks and vitamins and water and firewood. You can find me by the singing. We all know I can be heard for blocks. Just ask my city, ask them what's in the bag. But yeah, I had already turned blue because of her ass before. She wasn't predicting the fucking future, she was feeling guilty. And the funny thing is that she wasn't predicting the future, she was making it. Maybe she was right. There are futures that I could have ended up like that, and she made it like that.
Easy music.
She had a vision of me turning blue, thought it was the whippets I was doing. And then her way of dealing it was to banish me to the streets again, where I actually have a very likely risk of turning blue. It had already happened. It had literally already happened. I could have froze to death. I almost did if it weren't for Tinder. It's been years of mutual aid I got from Tinder in a city where my mother lives and is comfortable. She is literally delusional, by definition believes her own lies, that she is a victim in not being able to raise us, me and my sister. But she's not a victim. She's a bad mom. She kicked me out in a pandemic at 8 o'clock in the morning when nothing was going on. She had a caregiver who was being paid by the state to do it. He was being paid to do her dishes, not illegal evictions and assaults on disabled people's children. And I'm also disabled too. I don't heal the same way you guys do, in multiple ways. It's not just the ankylosing spondylitis. I have a heart defect. My blood never fully filters because it has a faulty valve. I can't get over infections the same as you. My blood doesn't filter. I shouldn't be having to explain this to my mother at 27 years old. She told me that a couple weeks earlier that she needed me to find a new place to live because she needed to get laid. After luring me there because she didn't want to be alone during quarantine. She told me she wanted to be near family in case the world was ending. She didn't know shit about family. And then she banished me to her city's harsh streets. She banished me to the streets where not only could I have turned blue again, it was likely. I had to dodge it every day. I never even dreamt. I had to constantly be aware of my safety even when I was asleep. It was likely in so many different ways, even being rescued by someone. The last time I was found dead, it was inside someone's house who had taken me in. There's so many ways I could have died. And not only that, I had a federal price on my head. I witnessed them shooting Donovan. I was on a date with him.
Your tracks today.
The federal government had there's a lot of officers who we still don't even know who they are, who would benefit a lot from me not living. What kind of mother is that? I had a federal price on my head in a pandemic. That's like the bare minimum of motherhood, I feel like. Don't kick out your kid in a pandemic. And I don't want to hear it about the whippets. You did acid every day like it was nothing, and you drove on it. You drove my Nana's car, which they gave you when she died, on acid in front of me every day when I was nervous in the passenger seat and could have just drove myself. You drove that car for a decade while I had no car and no way to get myself to be something when I was at the tender age when I needed to be. I needed to be working on becoming something. I could have been able to work if I had that car. You don't work, you get a check from the government and you don't barely leave your house. You could have let me use it. You hoarded it. My Nana gave her life to clean up the mess that you made having me. You made a child with a pimp. and a shot caller. Someone so powerful that when you met him, everyone in the city called him God when you walked around. And you yourself are a slam poet. I don't know why you ever thought it was a good idea to fuck with me. This is sad. I hope you got your dick, you gross ass bitch. Gross. Foul. Yeah, I popped your tires. I did it on Facebook Live. Do me a favor and tell me which time the insurance covered it. I'm curious. Tell me if grandma is still willing to pay your insurance when it's going up like that. Tell me if it even covered any of them, because your insurance isn't valid in the state you live in. Sucks to suck, I guess. That's my Nana's car. And every time you gripe about how I popped your tires, I hope you remember the grown men that I had to fight every day on a daily basis. I hope you remember the grown men that you sent to stalk me at protests. I hope you remember the funerals, protests or funerals, that you sent grown men to stalk me at. I have it on video. I hope you remember that I had to take my every piss on camera in front of the jail. My Nana gave her life to make sure that I could meet my potential, and you threw it away. But it backfired, didn't it? I hope you think of it. I hope you think of what you tried to feed me in my baked goods when I was pregnant with your grandchild. Every time you say your name, Sugar Love. You should have seen the officer's face when she had to serve me that restraining order. She already knew she was serving a warrant where the plaintiff was someone named quote-unquote Sugar Love. And then she found out that you were my mom. She was so surprised that I wasn't even bothered. I thanked her. I said, thanks, I'm gonna go use this to set a legal precedent, and defendants have more rights. She abused me really bad, my mom. She tried to slip Everclear in my food 12 times when I was pregnant. She has munchausen by proxy, and there's a lot of evidence of her abusing me. Actually, the first time she was ever deemed a risk to me, I was 13 months old. So, if she had it in her to hurt me at 13 months old, then why wouldn't she still have a motive to hurt me now? I actually had her assaulting me on live video. She got a restraining order against me for a crime that she committed, where I didn't even retaliate. I told that officer, thanks. I'm gonna go use this to set a legal precedent that helps a bunch of other abused children. Defendants have more rights, and our laws work on case law and precedent. This is how I finally get my justice, and I didn't have to do anything against my moral code to do it. Fuck her tires. I have a right as Jesus to flip those tires like a table, and I also have a right as a citizen who knows that you're using that car to risk all of the public by driving on hallucinogenics. I had not just a right, but a responsibility to pop those tires, and I'd love to tell a courtroom that. And while I was saying all of this, the person who was in the tent slipped off because the police were there, and I'm glad. I'm probably alive right now because of that officer serving me at that exact moment. I think that guy in that tent with me was about to kill me. I was not even mad about the restraining order. I felt really glad that I didn't just get a hit put out on me. I'm pretty sure that guy was gonna kill me. I left town that night. I hope when you say your name, Sugar Love, that you think of the legal document you got against your own child, when the only thing I'm a threat to you is your own past actions. My only weapon I wield is the truth. And guess what I have? A lot of therapy. I've been to a lot of therapists, unlike you, quote-unquote Sugar Love. How are you gonna take the last name Love, but you never even been to a therapist in your life? But guess what I have? A lot of therapy from my childhood too. And guess what therapists love to talk about? Mothers and fathers, especially when they have a tendency to hurt you. I have therapy notes from NARA and ARA from when they helped me get therapy when I was an agoraphobic and couldn't leave my house. Every day I had a therapist in my house. I had a therapist in my house every day for years, and what I learned in that is what pissed you off enough to get a restraining order against me for your own crime, where you made a stipulation for the restraining order to end when I quote-unquote get therapy. You haven't even gotten therapy. I've had years of it. That's why you couldn't handle it when I said, I don't like it when you put shit that I ask you not to in my food. I discussed with Nara a lot about why I cut you out of my life and why you weren't allowed to see your grandchild. I also discussed with them about how I found an amazing replacement grandma for him, Carol. She was the first junior Miss Black Oregon ever. She had a 12-inch brain tumor, but she was a little warrior. Everyone in that neighborhood remembers Carol. I hope Buddy remembers Carol. She loved him. Anyways, when you think of your name, I hope you think the legal document that you have as a plaintiff against the kid that you are such a victim that you didn't get to raise. Punk ass bitch. Scared over some tires? That's all it takes for you? That's funny. I've dodged chemical warfare from you for years when you gave birth to me. Fuck you.
Purchase your tracks
That's on
today.
Nana. That's on tires. That's on Jesus. That's on God. Fuck you. Dare you to get famous. You kicked me out with a smile on your face, and you told me, I'm gonna go get famous, and you banished me to the streets after I taught you how to make songs. You are a punk ass bitch. I dare you to get famous in this city. They're gonna have fun with you. They're gonna have fun with you, bitch. I don't have to do anything. It's not me you need the restraining order against. You're in danger being who you are in this city. You should go back to your box that you used to live in.
Easy music.
You're a risk to yourself. You get therapy. You get therapy. I need a restraining order against you. You're a danger to me. You're a danger to me. You didn't kick me out because you needed to get laid like you told me. I had just told you that I didn't trust your food, and that I had good reason not to trust your food, and that I would rather spend every dime that I have on DoorDash than to eat your food because I don't trust your food, and you took that personal. You need therapy. You had your state-paid caregiver there to do your dishes assault me. He broke a fucking door on my back. I don't heal the same way. I shouldn't be having to say that to my mother. I shouldn't be having to say that to my mother. You had 27 years. I gave you every bit of patience for so many years because you're legally fucking retarded. Your IQ is 86 because you gave yourself carbon monoxide poisoning. Don't use your gas oven for heat. You should have known that. You should have known that by the 90s, you fucking idiot. Fuck you. I dare you. I dare you to act any kind of victim about those tires when I had to fight grown men on a daily basis. But guess what? Thank you. Thank you for having a child with who you did, because my genes could feel him. I don't think that Zeph is even still alive anymore, but guess what? I think he is in me. I think that's why I lived. There was not one person who pulled a weapon against me who prospered. That's why they called him God, remember? He could slap someone to sleep with an open hand because he grew up homeless on the streets of Detroit since he was 9, after being the son of a rock star. I know how to survive. My genes could feel it, and every grown man that came and thought that he was some shit to hit women, even in front of the jail on surveillance camera, he got what he got. And it was because of Zeph. I feel him in my blood. I don't think he was God, but I think he was Jesus. I think we all have a right to be Jesus. I think that's the point, wasn't it? We're eating his body and his blood is sacrament for nothing? Yeah. I saw videos that he posted preaching, apologizing to a whole church about how he used to beat his wife. So, that sounds like something I would do. That motherfucker's definitely in me, and there's somehow that I knew how to drag men to the steps of the courthouse. I didn't even have to disable them. That's what those op bitches want. They were ops. And they want me to do what I have a right to do and defend myself, and then they can come in and act like I'm the agitator. That's what they do. It's their game. But guess what? If you learn how to disable and disarm someone without having to actually cause brute force harm, you just embarrass the shit out of them, rap the whole time, spin them around by their hair, leave them on the steps of the courthouse where they were begging to be because they're playing with people's lives, trying to fight homeless people on a street while they're covered in dirt. That happens every day to people in our city, and we don't realize because we're in boxes. You lured me to this dumbass city, and you don't even know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to live outside like this. Especially me. Especially me.
Easy music.
I can't believe you did that. I was almost 4 times in this pandemic. You're not a mother. Change your name. You have diabetes. Do you know how much audacity you have to have inside of you to have diabetes and change your name to Sugar Love? Bitch, fuck you. I'm not the risk. You're a risk to yourself. You should probably leave this city alone. I did enough therapy, enough like adventuring in here to know. I'm not the risk to you, baby. You're a fucking idiot. Get therapy. You get therapy. Apologize. That's all I asked. I don't think that you're the villain. I think that you need to learn how to admit when you're wrong. It gets to a point where it's a threat to me. When I tell you I don't trust your food and you can't admit that you did something to me, that you were wrong. That's narcissism. When instead you waged a war against me because I told you that you did something wrong. You really hurt me. And I was still willing to be your family at the end of the world. I can't believe you. It was you self-fulfilling prophet. You had a vision of me turning blue and then you did it.
Easy music.
Fucking idiot. Thank God you procreated with Zeph, a mastermind, a con artist. Because with your dumb ass, I was gonna fucking need it. Caught you walking straight through my walls. Guess it was all my fault. I think I let you in. Look, you said I never wrote a song for you, so I hope this one is haunting you. You said even if it took forever, I hope this one is haunting you. I hope this one is haunting you.